Hey guys, 22 Plinkster here. In front of me is a rifle that I have spent a lot of time behind. Not here recently, but about a year ago, I went on a prairie dog hunt with Savage and with Federal in Bushnell to South Dakota. And if you've watched my Plinkster Outdoors videos, you have seen this rifle in action. I'm not going to show you the hunt because I leave all the hunting and fishing and stuff on that other channel, not my primary channel, but I'll put a link to my other channel if you're interested in subscribing to that, or watch the video on this particular setup when I was prairie dog hunting. When I was prairie dog hunting with this rifle, this is the Model 25 lightweight varminter. Okay, it's got a medium contour barrel. It is extremely accurate, and it is chambered in 17 Hornet. If you know anything about the 17 Hornet, the 17 Hornet has been out for a long time. It is by far not a new caliber at all, but the 17 Hornet is a little bit quicker, has a little bit more energy, and a little bit more accurate at longer ranges than the next top dog when talking to Rimfire, the 17 WSM. Now let me go over a few of the differences between the 17 phenomenon. Now first we need to talk about is this little round. This is the smallest of the 17 family. This is the Mach 2. The Mach 2 was introduced probably about 13 to 15 years ago. And at first it was doing pretty well. And basically it's a 17 grain projectile, and it is in a 22 long rifle casing. So it's a 22 LR neck down to a 17 caliber, but you're pushing this little bitty 17 caliber projectile at 2,100 feet per second. Much faster than any 22 long rifle on the market. Then came the 17 HMR just months later, and the 17 HMR pretty much killed the Mach 2. So once the 17 HMR went on, on the market, because this projectile is not firing 2,100 feet per second like the Mach 2, it's actually firing 2,600 feet per second. They're like, well, if I'm going to shoot a 17 caliber, might as well be an HMR, because it's about 500 feet per second faster. Well, a couple of years ago, the 17 WSM came out, the Winchester Super Mag. Now this little round, it's one of my favorite Rimfire rounds. You're pushing a 20 grain projectile at, what the box was at, 3,000? Yeah, 3,000 feet per second. So that is crazy when talking about Rimfire. Now the 17 Hornet is even faster than that. You're pushing a 20 grain projectile at about 3,600 feet per second. That is screaming. But the difference between the Hornet and also the other 17 calibers is the Hornet is centerfire. That's right, it's not rimfire, it is centerfire. Like I said, this cartridge has been out for a very long time, and it is an expensive cartridge to buy. However, when people buy a rifle like this Model 25 or another rifle in the 17 Hornet, they get it to reload, because with good reloads, these things will drive tacks. This rifle has a laminate stock, and it does have a target stock on it, so if you're using sandbags, this rifle will lay down nicely on it. It does have your swivel studs in the rear and front of the stock, so you can mount a sling if you want to take it out on the field if you have a long walk. Now the bolt here is a jeweled bolt, and that's actually an up feature or a custom upgrade on the 25 is you get a jeweled bolt, which this will ensure is a very smooth action. Now, like most of all your Savage bolt action rifles, it does come with an adjustable AccuTrigger. This AccuTrigger, if set right, is very smooth. It breaks very crisp, and you know exactly when each and every one of those shots will go down range. You do have a manual safety on the right-hand side. You press forward for fire, back for safety. And it does come with a detachable box magazine. This is a polymer magazine, and it does hold 4 rounds. Now let's talk about the optic here on top of this Model 25. On top of the rifle is a Bushnell Engage. This is the exact same setup that I used on the prairie dog hunt. The same scope, the same rifle, they're identical. So they shipped it to me after the prairie dog hunt. So this little scope, this is, it's not a lower end, it's pretty much a mid-level scope, but you get a lot of cool features with this particular Engage. It does have your focus on the left-hand side from 30 yards all the way out to infinity. Like I said before, it is 4x12, and the glass in this scope is very clear. What sets this scope apart from a lot of the other scopes in the $300 range is the reticle system. I was using this reticle system out on the range. It's a little confusing at first when you look at it, but once you understand what the values of the reticle system have built inside, you can actually engage targets from 100 yards with a 10-mile-an-hour crosswind all the way out to like 300 or 400 yards with a 20-mile-an-hour crosswinds, if you want to sit down and do the math and do the calculations of what each and every one of those reticle mil dots inside of them can do. Enough talking about the Model 25 lightweight varminter. Let's go down range and put a target up at 50 yards and see what this rifle can do. Now, after 50 yards, I'm gonna set a target up at 100 yards and see how well it groups. Now, I'm kind of limited on a 12-powered scope, but if I'm feeling froggy, I may try to split a playing card at 100 yards. All right, we have 4 rounds loaded in this polymer magazine in this Model 25. I've got a target set up downrange at 50 yards. Let's see what kind of group we can do at 50. Now I'm gonna shoot later on at 100, but I'm just curious what I can do at 50. It's probably gonna shoot a little bit low, I had to guess. Let's go for the center target on the left-hand side. Make sure my ears are in good. This thing's loud. All right, it does print a little low because I've got it sighted in at 400. I'll take that 4-shot group any day of the week. Now let me reposition the camera down here, set it up at 100 yards, and the 100-yard shooting on this rifle will show you exactly what this rifle is capable of doing. All right, now I have the camera repositioned. I have got a target way down yonder at 100 yards, and we'll be still shooting some of this American Eagle 17 Hornet. These are some 20-grain varmint tip, and again, this is 4-round magazine. So I'm gonna see what kind of group I can get at 100 yards. This barrel is heating up and there's relatively no wind today. There's a slight breeze, but probably not enough to make any difference. But I do wish I had a little bit more magnification on this optic. It's only a 12 power and I'd like to have about a 20 power right now. So we're going to go for the center left one. Not bad so far. Probably about a, looks maybe like 3/4 of an inch apart. Wow. This thing is a tack driver. All right, before I go down there and get that target, I'm gonna put another 4-round group on that target, probably below it or above it. And anytime you're shooting any kind of firearm for that matter, unless it's suppressed, you need to wear ear protection. This thing is loud. All right, let's go for the one beside it on the right. Holy cow, this thing will shoot. I love this little rifle. So back-to-back groups, I guarantee you, well, I can't guarantee the one on the left, or the one on the right is definitely less than MOA. You know what, I'm feeling froggy. I wonder if I can split a playing card at 100 yards with this rifle, with that little bitty 17 caliber projectile. The things I get myself into. You know what, what's the worst thing that happen? I miss. Let me set a playing card up down there at 100 yards. Let me see if I can hit it. All right, have my playing card downrange at 100 yards. I'm gonna try to split it on its edge. Hitting the playing card would be easy if it was facing me, but I'm just trying to split it. Here is my group from the 100 yard right here. That is a little bit less than an inch, and this is probably closer to a ½ inch. I'm gonna measure them here in a minute. But let me see if I can split that playing card real quick. Strike one. Strike two. I didn't miss it by much, man. There went my target. Oh, I can't be missing it by much. All right, let me cheat a little bit to the right here. Nailed it. Split that playing card at 100 yards. I had to cheat a little bit to the right. Now, let me go down there and retrieve that playing card. So retrieve the playing card downrange. Ba-bam. Hey, diddle diddle, right down the middle. This thing will shoot. It'll flat out shoot. I knew this rifle was a good shooter, but I never did get it on paper. When I had it last year in South Dakota, prairie dog hunting, you know, you pretty much was constantly dialing the gauges on this thing because of the wind and also the distance of these prairie dogs. I took prairie dogs 4 or 5. I think my farthest one with this rifle was 560 yards. So they will shoot very well. If you're looking to stay in the 17 caliber family and you want something more than what a rimfire can offer, such as velocity and foot-pounds of energy and distance, accuracy is probably the same at 100 yards. This rifle will really shine at like 200 and 300 yards, a little bit more accurate than the 17 WSM and of course the 17 HMR. But you may want to consider the Model 25 lightweight varminter and the 17 Hornet. Guys, if you have any questions, you can put them in the comments below. Go over to my Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter page and ask them there. Until next time, y'all be safe and keep blinking.